Sunrise on Easter Monday paints the eastern sky with sherbet orange bands when the rumble starts, engines growling up my half-mile dirt lane like a pack of hungry wolves. I'm crouched in the back of my pickup, prying open a 5-gallon can of primer, still tasting last night's instant coffee, when the convoy crests the hill. 6 matte white box trucks, hazard strobes flashing, grind to a stop in formation outside my sagging barn. The lead rig's tailgate slams down and out march men in high-vis yellow vests, clipboards in one hand, two-way radios in the other, barking orders as if the soil itself answered to them. Gates padlocked. One shouts, "Cut it open now." A stocky guy with bolt cutters jogs forward. Steel jaws bite. The chain snaps like dry spaghetti. My chest thunders. Who the heck are these people? I drop the paint can, white sludge splattering my boots, and stride across the cracked yard boards creaking under my weight. Hold up. My voice cracks the morning calm, spooking a pair of crows from the fence post. This is private land. Explain yourselves. Closest to me, a woman no taller than my shoulder, but radiating command, flips down mirrored sunglasses. The vest over her blazer reads, Meadow Ridge HOA Compliance Unit. She thrusts a stapled packet at my chest. Notice of immediate annexation and fee assessment, she recites, monotone. You owe $4,800 in back dues, payable today. Sign at the bottom, or we initiate compliance demolition. Demolition? The word tastes like rust. Lady, this farm isn't in any subdivision, and I sure didn't sign up for your HOA. She smirks, as though I'd told a toddler the Easter Bunny isn't real. Expansion was approved last Friday at 4 p.m. You're inside Meadow Ridge now. Congratulations on the upgrade. Behind her, 2 workers unlatch the barn doors. Old hinges scream. Sunlight spills over my century-old tractor, still mid-restoration. Another guy snaps photos. Every peeling board, each stack of lumber, like a forensic team building a case. Adrenaline roars in my ears. Easter's meant for sunrise services and chocolate eggs, not hostile takeovers. Yet here I stand, primer on my hands, watching strangers trespass on the only dream I've ever bought outright. And that's the moment I know these clipboard cowboys think they've already won. They have no idea what kind of fight I'm ready to bring. The woman badge reads K. Morrow, Compliance Director, flips to the last page of her packet, pins a heavy red X beside my printed name, and clicks out a ballpoint like she's waiting on a deli order. Mr. Hayes, sign here. 2 choices, pay $4,800 in back dues and $750 monthly going forward, or we begin compliance demolition, starting with that unstable barn. Behind her, Klaxon Man yells, Demo team, stand by. A guy rears a portable generator and yanks the cord on a concrete saw. It screeched knife straight through my eardrums. Heartbeat hammering, I glance at the deed tucked inside my leather tool belt. County seal, no HOA covenants, bought free and clear just 6 weeks back. You're trespassing, I say, voice low, fists white. 1 more inch and you're paying for every board you break. Morrow's smile doesn't waver. Refusal noted. Clock's ticking, 10 minutes to compliance. She radios, phase 1 pending. Prep the barn doors for removal. 2 goons in neon vests haul a bright orange notice. Structure unsafe banner toward my tractor shed. Paint still drips down the posts I'd set yesterday. My $420,000 nest egg is seconds from becoming their cautionary tape playground. I breathe in dust and diesel fumes, counting my tools, my options, my phone bars, 3 shaky ones. No sheriff will arrive in 10 minutes. So I dig for time. Let me call my lawyer. I bluff, flipping open the deed for effect. Annexation isn't legal until the county stamps it. You're early, and that makes this criminal. Her composure flickers. 1 brow lift, she taps her earpiece. Stand by, she murmurs to the crew. The saw winds down, generator idling. 8 minutes left. I bought a sliver of daylight, just enough to swing this showdown in my favor, if I can somehow prove their so-called annexation is pure vapor. The next move is mine, and it better be fast. 6 weeks earlier, Easter was just a date on the calendar, and Meadow Ridge HOA, nothing but a rumor from town gossip. I was still in my 1-bedroom apartment above the hardware store, staring at a crumpled real estate flyer, 27 acres, derelict farmstead, cash only SIS. Most folks saw a money pit. I saw deliverance. 15 years on a mechanics creeper taught me 2 truths. 1, every bolt eventually strips, and 2, every body eventually breaks. My back had given its first warning shot last Thanksgiving, sciatic lightning down my leg, right as corporate cut pensions. That night I emptied my someday folder, $420,000 of overtime pay, side gig engine rebuilds, and the battered savings bonds my mom tucked into birthday cards. A nest egg meant for safe index funds. Instead, I wired it to a title company by dawn. First time I crested the farm's dusty ridge, the place looked dead. Roof shingles curled like blackened petals, windows boarded, barns sagging like a tired mule. But the wind carried honeysuckle from the untamed hedgerow, and sunlight poured through a hole in the hayloft, turning dust motes into gold flakes. I heard silence. No sirens, no freeway, just a distant whip-poor-will. Peace, the kind you can't finance with a 30-year note. I slept in my truck that first night, engine block still warm, rifle across my lap more out of habit than fear. By sunrise, I was prying plywood off the farmhouse windows, letting light flood rooms that hadn't breathed in 30 years. I scrawled a to-do list a mile long. Septic, gutters, new joists, fence line, greenhouse, rescue kennel for the dogs I'd foster once the place stood solid. Every plank I replaced felt like welding my spine back together. And now, Easter Monday, present tense, I'm watching strangers threaten to bulldoze that sweat and soul before the paint even cures. The nest egg is no longer numbers in a bank. It's the hand-planed porch rail they're leaning on, the barn beams they've marked unsafe, the hope I nailed into every cedar post. Losing it isn't an option. Fighting for it is the only instinct left in my bones. Time's up, Kay. Morrow taps her watch. My flashback ends, but my resolve hardens like freshly set concrete. The next play will decide whether this farm stays mine or becomes another HOA trophy, and I'm not about to fold. Morrow's countdown hits 0. She signals the saw crew, but I raise my phone, speaker blaring the scratchy voice of Darla Kemp, county deed supervisor, who finally picked up my third call. Mr. Hayes, I just double-checked the plat. Your parcel sits outside every recorded HOA boundary. No annexation has been stamped, no public notice filing, nothing. The vests pause mid-stride. Even the concrete saw sputters to idle. I crank the volume. If anyone is enforcing HOA codes on that land right now, it's unauthorized, possibly criminal trespass. Eyes narrow behind mirrored glasses, Morrow shoves her radio to her lips. Base, confirm annexation, filing 27A Juliet. Static, then a male voice, still in committee. Delay expected 2 to 3 weeks. The air shifts, confidence leaking from their shoulders. I press, you heard the county. You're acting on vapor paper. Get off my farm. Morrow bluffs one last card, flashes a letterhead stamped with a Meadow Ridge Master Expansion Agreement, and signed undated. Prop. She stuffs it back when I snap a photo for evidence. Pack it, she bites. Crews retreat. No apology, just the hiss of folding sawhorses and the clank of tossed chain. Engines roar and the convoy rumbles out, leaving fresh tire gouges in the damp earth. I stand alone again, but victory tastes thin. Someone greenlit this raid without legal footing, someone high enough to fake documents, confident enough to send a mini-army. As dust settles, I spot a detail they missed. A laminated ID badge trampled near the barn door. Coastal Property Services subcontractor. I pocket it. Proof of a bigger machine hiding behind those vests. Phone still in hand, I tell Darla, flag every annexation request with Meadow Ridge in the header. I need alerts the second anything moves. She agrees, sympathy in her sigh. Sun climbs higher, glinting off the dented primer, can at my feet. First skirmish won. But the question now looms louder than the saw ever did. If no lawful HOA exists here yet, who just tried to claim my farm, and how far will they go to make the lie stick? I wipe paint from my knuckles, lock the gate with a new chain, and start scanning for the next punch that's sure to follow. I spend the afternoon patching splintered barn door trim and replaying the raid in my head like a busted reel. Sunset finally drapes the field's lavender. Generator hum powers a single work light while I torque the last bolt on the tractor's starter. By 11 p.m., exhaustion wins. I chain the main gate. 2 padlocks this time, crack 1 celebratory ginger beer, and collapse onto the old army cot I keep in the farmhouse parlor. Buck the Foster mutt curls at my boots, ears twitching with every creak. Sometime past 3 a.m., a hollow clang jolts me upright. Metal on concrete, deep inside the grain silo. Wind. Raccoons? I grabbed the mag light and a framing hammer, Buck padding silent beside me. Moonlight silvers the yard. The air smells off chemical, plasticky, wrong for farmland at night. The silo door hangs ajar, lock sheared clean through. Inside, the beam of my flashlight slices across chaos. Burlap seed sacks gutted, wheat tossed like confetti. My brand new drip irrigation manifold is missing entirely. Copper pipes hacked off flush, valves gone. A smear of coolant gleams under the tractor. The battery cables dangle snipped, terminals sparking faintly in the flashlight glare. They didn't just break in, they crippled the two systems I need to plant spring crops. Water lines and a running engine. Rage rockets up my throat. I yank the phone, no bars inside steel walls, so I sprint outside, dial 911, and choke out the scene to the county dispatcher. While waiting for deputies, I notice bright flakes on the ground, shredded neon yellow zip ties, same shade as those compliance vests. Sabotage costs me $3,000 in parts and at least a week of planting time. More than money, it's a message. Paperwork failed, so now we bleed you slow. When deputies finally arrive, flashbulbs strobe across the wreckage. One kneels, lifts a fragment of zip tie with tweezers, drops it into an evidence bag. Looks targeted, he mutters. He promises to add the incident to the trespass file, then offers the line I'm starting to hate. Keep records, sir. These things escalate. As the cruisers roll away, dawn pinks the eastern ridge. I lean in the silo's dented door, fists trembling, and vow out loud to the empty fields, you picked the wrong farm for slow death by 1,000 cuts. Because if they're willing to sneak in under moonlight and gut my lifeline, I'm done waiting for the next slap. I'm swinging first. Sleep's a stranger after the silo hit. While dawn cobwebs the fields in pale blue, I thumb through my contacts until I land on the one name that means court-grade backup, Jillian Hayes, ESQ, my kid sister. She answers on the second ring, bleary but alert. Trial lawyers never truly power down. Tell me you didn't get in another bar fight, she grumbles. Worse, I say. A phantom HOA just gnawed through my irrigation and stole my tractor guts. 20 minutes of download later, she's tossing clothes into a go bag. Text me every photo, badge, and county statement you've got. I'll be there by lunch. Jillian lives 168 miles south, but caffeine and righteous fury make good fuel. Noon, high noon. Her silver Subaru fishtails up the drive at 12:07 p.m., tires spitting gravel. She steps out in Wranglers and a navy blazer, courtroom on top, ranch ready below, already stapling pages. First, this deed. She slaps a certified copy against my palm. County seal, my name, 0 HOA covenants. Second, a temporary restraining order request. Judge owes me a callback by 4. We tramp to the gutted silo. Jillian kneels, snaps macro shots of the clipped battery cables, the neon zip tie entrails. Chain of evidence, she mutters, bagging shards like forensic jewelry. Back at the farmhouse table, still half-sanded pine, we spread documents under a buzzing fly strip. County plat maps, highlighted in neon. The fake master expansion agreement, annotated void in Sharpie. Dispatch call logs. Deputy incident numbers. Screen-captured Zillow listings where Meadow Ridge is already marketing upcoming Lakeview lots that include my front pasture. Jillian's jaw sets granite hard. They're selling air and using intimidation to clear the land cheap, classic straw doll racket. She cracks a grin. Law schools should hand this case out as a final exam. 3:48 p.m., her phone trills. She paces, scribbles, hangs up, and slaps a sticky note on the TRO packet. Judge signed. Sheriff will serve Meadow Ridge management by 9 a.m. tomorrow. No personnel within 300 feet of your boundary until the hearing. Relief is a sip of cold water in August. But Jillian lifts a warning finger. A TRO's a paper fence. We need optics. Make them bleed PR points so they back off before discovery. Optics like what? Camera footage, local press, and every neighbor they've bullied. She taps the Subaru keys on the table. I'll draft a cease and desist tonight. You big brother, start wiring this place with eyes, real ones. And call someone you trust to handle the hardware. Her strategy smells like fresh sawn cedar. Build it strong, build it visible, let the sawdust fall where it may. And for the first time since Easter Monday's dawn raid, the farm feels a shade less alone. Because now the fight isn't just mine, it's ours, and Jillian swings a heavier hammer than any bolt cutter crew. We lay conduit for the new security rig until past midnight. Motion LEDs over the lane, trail cams tucked in cottonwoods, a solar-charged DVR humming in the root cellar. By dawn, Jillian's legal envelope is taped to the gatepost, bright as a warning flare. I'm elbow-deep in tractor rewiring when an engine whines overhead. Not a crop duster. Too small, too nimble. I wipe grease from my knuckles and stare up. A quadcopter hovers 30 feet above the chicken coop, gimbal eye glinting in the sun. It tilts, snaps a burst of photos, strafes toward the barn, then pauses, almost posing. Above the roof Jillian and I patched yesterday. Got a visitor, I shout. She bolts from the farmhouse with her DSLR, zoom lens already spinning. My Rhode Island red scatter, squawking. The drone dips lower, lens trained on the half-painted exterior wall, catching every cracked shingle, every untrimmed vine. Ammo for code violation citations.
I grab the yard rake, but Jillian stops me. Don't sweat it, film it. She kneels, firing off frames. We want them on record violating the TRO. The drone ascends, retreating toward the western treeline where a black SUV idles. I tag it with binoculars, rear window down, guy in polo shirt clutching a tablet. When the drone lands, he slams the hatch and peels off, dust plume curling behind him. Jillian checks her shots. Crystal clear tail number on the drone's fuselage, GPS timestamps sync to the restraining order clock. That's contempt of court, she says, satisfied. We upload the footage to a cloud drive and forward it to the sheriff. Subject line: TRO violation, aerial trespass. Within an hour, Deputy Warren radios back. Plate traces to Coastal Property Services, same subcontractor on the trampled ID badge. Paper fence or not, they just rammed it with a remote-controlled battering ram, and handed us the evidence gift wrapped. I glance at my rattled hens scratching the dirt, then at the cloudless sky now empty of buzzing spies. You keep flying, boys, I think, and we'll keep clipping your wings, one court order at a time. Friday morning, gravel crackles under fresh tires again, this time a battered Ford News van, KLVY Channel 7 stenciled on the side. The rookie reporter Jillian wrangled, Mara Ortiz, hops out clutching a tripod, her cameraman lugging a battered Sony ENG. She pans the lens across charred battery cables, shredded zip ties. The chicken coop buck now guards like Fort Knox. I guide her to the silo, its lock stump glittering in the sun. Jillian hands Mara a copy of the TRO, and the drone tail number shouts like smoking guns. Mara raises an eyebrow. HOA drama usually means mailbox colors. You've got trespass, sabotage, aerial surveillance. Mind if we roll? Red tally light blinks. I recount Easter Monday's invasion, the phony annexation, the midnight sabotage, keeping my voice level, but the tremor of anger slips through when I describe Buck's low growl the night the silo was gutted. Jillian steps in, citing statute numbers and waving the certified deed. Meadow Ridge is selling non-existent authority. Bureau follows. The ruined irrigation manifold, tractor still mid-surgery, drone footage overlay in the corner. Cameraman captures the TRO on the gatepost, zooms on the bold 300-foot exclusion radius. As they pack up, Mara taps her earpiece, nodding. We're leading the 6 o'clock with this. Public loves a David versus clipboard Goliath. 6 p.m., small town, big airwaves. The farmhouse TV flickers as the segment airs. Mara's stand-up shot against my barn fills half the screen. Lower third reads. HOA overreach? Farmer fights phantom takeover. They run the drone clip. Tail number frozen in a red circle. Then Deputy Warren on camera confirming an investigation for TRO contempt. Within minutes my phone detonates with notifications. Facebook groups I've never joined tag my name. Outrageous. Hashtag hands off our farms. Somebody start a GoFundMe. KLVY's switchboard jams. Jillian's firm voicemail hits capacity. But the best ping comes from Deputy Warren. CPS drone operators served with contempt notice. Arraignment Monday. Small victory, yet loud enough that Meadow Ridge can't shrug it off. Jillian leans on the porch post, watching comments cascade across her tablet. Optics achieved, she says, half smile sharp as barbed wire. Next move's theirs, and every lens in the county's now aimed their way. I breathe the dusk air, alfalfa sweet, diesel faint, and feel the ground under my boots steady for the first time since Easter Monday. The clipboard cavalry wanted quiet compliance. Instead, they got primetime scrutiny. The floodlights are on now. And cockroaches, I've learned, don't sprint well in daylight. The news segment hasn't been off the air 12 hours when Payback slithers through the dark. 1:42 a.m. Buck's guttural bark yanks me from the cot. He claws at the back door, hackles saw-bladed, a low whine leaking between growls. The motion lights flare. I glimpse a shadow vaulting my perimeter fence, something dangling from his hand. By the time I shoulder outside with the mag light, only footprints and the crisp scent of smoked meat linger in the dewy grass. Buck noses a hunk of steak glistening under the coop eaves. Before I can stop him, he wolfs 2 bites, then staggers, drool thick, eyes glassy. Panic detonates inside my chest. I scoop 90-pound Buck into the truck cab, engine roaring like a wounded bull, and redline the 2-lane to Dr. Patel's 24-hour clinic. Fluorescent lights glare off stainless as the vet inserts a syringe into Buck's vein. She sniffs the meat scrap I bagged. Smells like aldicarb, pesticide outlawed years ago. Stomach free falls. Will he make it? If we flush him fast, she says, hanging a second 4. You caught it early. While saline drips, I file yet another police report. Attempted animal poisoning, aggravated trespass. Deputy Warren arrives, circles the bagged steak, brow dark. Aldicarb's cartel poison, he mutters. Whoever tossed that wanted your dog silent, and you rattled. He scribbles, then levels a tired gaze. Listen, Mr. Hayes, these HOA types, when the legal lane gets bumpy, they veer off-road. Lock your gates, load your cameras, and maybe, keep a shotgun handy. Buck survives the night, groggy but tail-thumping when sunrise streaks the clinic blinds.
A billboard for Meadow Ridge's upscale lakeside living
tight,
rises like a taunt against the morning sky. I roll down the window, let the wind slap my face, and promise Buck, still woozy in the passenger seat, they just crossed the last line. Next, we make them answer in court, on camera, and under oath. Monday, 8:15 a.m. The county courthouse steps look like a farmer's market uprising. Pickups jam every curb, tailgates serve as sign painting tables, and a checkerboard of homemade posters sways above the crowd. Land subdivision. No phantom HOAs. Hands off Hayes Farm and Buck. Faces I've never met nod like neighbors. The Stetson-topped rancher from 3 valleys over, the retiree who caravanned 2 hours after seeing the drone clip. Even Mara Ortiz's cameraman hauling a boom mic through the throng. Jillian stands beside me in a charcoal suit, binder clutched tight. She whispers, "Optics times 10. Let's pour gasoline on it." I raise Buck's paw, bandaged but resolute, and the crowd roars approval. Sheriff's deputies eye the scene, but there's no anger here, just solidarity thick as cedar sap. 9 a.m., courtroom packed to the wainscoting. Meadow Ridge's delegation files in. 3 lawyers, glossy as catalog models. HOA President Stan Coulter, trailing behind, complexion gray. They avoid eye contact. Cameras catch every sidestep. Judge Ramirez gavels order. Jillian opens with a projector slide. Drone stills. Tail number circled red. Timestamp inside the TRO window. Next slide. The poisoned meat toxicology report. Audible gasps ripple through the gallery. Coulter's counsel squirms. She calls Deputy Warren. Uniform crisp. Testimony sharper. He confirms the midnight sabotage reports, the contempt charge against Coastal Property Services, and the pesticide brand. Then Mara's broadcast plays on the courtroom monitors. HOA vests storming my gate. Bolt cutters snapping. Reality TV. Only real. Defense tries to object. Irrelevant, prejudicial. But the judge waves them down. Relevance is precisely what we're determining. When my turn comes, I plant boots wide, palms tingling. I describe Easter Monday's invasion, the silo sabotage, Buck's collapse. Every word tastes like rust and resolve. I hold up the shredded zip tie in a sealed evidence pouch, bright HOA yellow, and lay it on the witness ledge, like Exhibit A of arrogance. Outside, through stained glass transoms, the chant starts. No more HOA. 3 beats, steady as a hammer on an anvil. The judge pauses, listening, then clears her throat. Given the pattern of harassment, the forged annexation documents, and blatant TRO violations, she says, this court grants the restraining order extension and issues a preliminary injunction. Meadow Ridge, HOA, its agents, and any subcontractors are barred from entering or contacting Mr. Hayes or his property pending full trial. Coulter's jaw slackens. One lawyer actually drops his pen, but Judge Ramirez isn't done. Furthermore, the allegations of attempted animal poisoning and vandalism are referred to the district attorney for criminal review. Gavel cracks. Crowd outside erupts like a spring calf freed from the chute. Jillian leans in, voice low but electric. They wanted a quiet signature. We just gave them a headline. HOA faces criminal probe. Next, discovery. We dig into their emails, financials, everything. She squeezes my shoulder. Hope you're ready, big brother, because now the whole county is watching. I glance down at Buck, tail wagging despite the cone of shame, and out at the sea of supporters flooding the courthouse lawn. For the first time since Easter Monday, the war feels winnable, and I realize they tried to isolate me. Instead, they built a coalition. Their clipboard empire is cracking, one spotlight at a time, and today, the first chunk just fell. Discovery hits Meadow Ridge like a tornado in a trailer park. 2 weeks after the injunction, Jillian and I sit opposite their counsel in a windowless conference room, fluorescent lights buzzing like hornets. Our subpoena forced open the HOA's inboxes, 10 years of emails zip-filed and court-ordered onto a flash drive that now spins in Jillian's laptop. She scrolls, eyes flaring. Bingo. From Stan Coulter. To Gregory Holt, Coastal Property Services. Subject, clean-out timeline. Body. If we can scare the rancher off before zoning votes, lot prices triple. Take creative measures. Keep it untraceable. I feel my pulse in my ears. Creative measures. The bolt cutters, the pesticide stake. Buck wheezing on the clinic table. Next thread. Spreadsheets titled Projected Lakeside Phase. Hayes Parcel. Listing phantom deposits from would-be buyers. Cash. Meadow Ridge. Pocketed before any annexation hearing. Jillian's grin is pure predator. They sold property they don't own, then weaponized harassment to clear you out. Classic wire fraud. We print exhibits. Courthouse printer groans under the load. By the time we wheel the cart into Judge Ramirez's chambers, we've mapped a criminal lattice. HOA officers, coastal property heavies, shell LLCs routing escrow money offshore. The emergency hearing is swift. Coulter's attorney stammers about overzealous volunteers, but the emails scream intent. Judge Ramirez refers the file to the state AG and sets $2 million bail for Coulter and the compliance director, Kay Morrow, on counts of conspiracy, wire fraud, and animal cruelty. Deputies cuff them right there. Cameras flash. Mara Ortiz streams live. The crowd outside chants a new rhythm. Fraud has a price. Gregory Holt tries to slink out. Jillian blocks him with the projector screen. Counselor, your signatures on the contract funneling escrow to that Cayman account, she says. His face drains. Deputies add another pair of cuffs. By sunset, the HOA's website reads, Maintenance in progress. Their phones ring to disconnected tones. County reassesses every Meadow Ridge fine ever issued. Residents line up with refund claims. Coastal Properties business license? Suspended pending investigation. I stand on the courthouse steps, Buck beside me, soaking in a sky the color of fresh forged steel. Reporters thrust mics, supporters slap my back, but all I hear is the soft click of handcuffs as the convoy of squad cars pulls away. The clipboard empire didn't just crack, it cratered, and the tremor is felt far beyond my fences. Other HOAs in 3 counties announce policy reviews. Zoning officials schedule emergency ethics briefings, and a state senator tweets about drafting homeowner anti-coercion legislation. Buck bill trending by midnight. Back at the farm, dusk paints the silo gold. I replace the lock, third one's the charm, and scratch Buck behind the ears. For the first time since Easter Monday, no engines growl over the ridge, no drones buzz overhead, just crickets, wind, and the slow exhale of land reclaiming quiet. Tomorrow, I'll plant the spring seedlings we've been hauling in the truck bed for weeks. Tonight, I pour 2 fingers of bourbon, hold it up to the moon, and toast. To every bully who thinks a deed is just a piece of paper, cheers, because paper can also be a warrant. Dawn cracks open exactly 365 days after the bolt cutter brigade first rattled my gate, and the farm greets it like a cathedral. Alfalfa emerald bright, orchard buds blushing pink, Buck trotting ahead, scar still on his flank, spirit unbroken. The Pritcham Buck bill sailed through the State House last fall. Every HOA now must file annexation notices in bold print, certified mail, 90-day public comment, criminal penalties for coercive enforcement. Mara Ortiz keeps a framed copy of the statute on her newsroom wall. Jillian calls it the clipboard choke chain. Me? I traded courtrooms for cedar planks. A shiny guest cabin overlooks the stream. The silo wears new sheet metal skin. Fresh drip lines hiss life into a half-acre vegetable grid that hums with honeybee traffic. Above the lane, the rebuilt archway reads, Hayes Freehold, no trespass, no HOA. I'm sanding porch rails when the mail jeep bumps up the drive. The carrier hands me 1 envelope, no return address, thick ivory stalk. Inside, you may have won the battle, but the land war has only begun. Nothing else. No logo, no signature, just that taunt and a smear of dried mud that smells like swamp moss, not local clay. Buck's ears flatten. The breeze feels suddenly colder. I slip the note into a Ziploc, label it Exhibit 0, and exhale a slow, steady breath. Because peace isn't a finish line out here. It's a season, fragile as spring blossom. And if some new phantom wants round 2, they'd better bring an army bigger than last year's. The cameras are still rolling, the community's still watching, and this time, the farm's defenses start at the county line. Let them come. I've got seedlings to plant, and plenty of fight left in the soil.